Welcome to Supply Chain Partners video and podcast media channels, where we discuss innovative services and strategies delivered by our members at Supply Chain Partners. Our members can help you to build a high-performing business and supply chain. I'm Sharyn Grant, the founder and owner of Supply Chain Partners. I've worked within the logistics and supply chain field for over 20 years, and I specialize in strategic supply chain performance management. With us today is Eitan Shibi, the Chief Technology Officer at Techs4Biz. Techs4Biz has been automating compliance and improving operational efficiencies by automating paper-based processes using mobile devices and a smart database. Techs4Biz is a valued member at supplychainpartners.com.au, which is a B2B marketplace where industry professionals can source expert suppliers for business and supply chain solutions. Welcome, Eitan.
Thank you. It's great to be here. We started automating and replacing paper with the green Palm Pilot, if you're old enough to remember. That device had a stylus pen and 1 megabyte of memory. We've had the pleasure to be involved with automation at multiple components of the supply chain and assist different organizations with their processes.
That's interesting that you've mentioned the Palm Pilot. Technology definitely has come a long way since then. Well, today's episode is about regulatory compliance and digital transformation. I know that Techs4Biz has been involved with automation and compliance for the last 20 years, with a key focus on replacing paper-based processes. What type of companies within the supply chain use paper-based processes?
Every company at every step in the supply chain actually uses paper processes, especially related to compliance and data collection. Manufacturing processes involved countless requirements for inspections, data collection and compliance forms during the manufacturing process. For example, pre-start check for machinery, quality assurance or quality control for products manufactured, workplace, personal safety, toolbox talks, inductions, lockout, tagouts, etc. Warehousing and distribution centers have a multitude of compliance and safety requirements related to storage and movement of goods, racking inspections, forklifts and machinery pre-start checks, personal protective equipment, and other safety requirements. Let's take a warehouse as an example. Forklift drivers are required to be certified at least annually. Tracking this in paper forms is so inefficient and lacks the ability for automatic reminders, for example, when a driver is required to be certified. Also, tracking and inspecting each forklift before use is vitally important in order to minimize safety issues and potential injuries. The same warehouse requires racking and storage-related inspections. Storage safety issues, if left outstanding, can pose a significant risk for injury and productivity loss. Many of these activities are currently done using paper forms, which at this day of age are costly, inefficient, and increase unnecessary risk while limiting information flow.
Thank you very much for that explanation. So if we take compliance as an example for a paper-based process, what are some of the typical compliance requirements in a supply chain?
Safety compliance activities are integrated in almost every process throughout the supply chain. Typically, such activities are focused on reducing or eliminating risks and improving efficiency. That means the need to practice due diligence to mitigate risk that might pose threats or disruption to your daily operations. Our experience indicates that most participants in the supply chain already have established safety-related processes. However, these, as I mentioned, are typically paper-based. Let's review another example: hazardous materials. Storing and handling hazardous materials is not only highly regulated, but it also has potential drastic outcomes when something goes wrong. In Australia, for example, there are a number of checklists that can be used to verify whether chemicals or substances are being properly managed and stored, and then organizations are complying with duties under the Australian Hazardous Substances of the OHS regulations. In other jurisdictions, such as the US, these regulations fall under OSHA. Tracking inspections and compliance activities using paper is not only inefficient, but it also increases risk as information flow and notifications are not timely. Starting from ensuring that a person accessing hazardous materials has all the required information available at the time of access, continuing with reminders if compliance-related activities are not conducted on time, and concluding with notifications when something is not within the required compliance levels. Automation is exceptionally important. By managing these risks, you can reduce the threat to your business and by extension, be more attractive business partner to your customers.
Excellent. Thank you for that. We know that industrial processes have compliance requirements. What is the issue with paper forms? They do capture the same information after all, don't they?
That is an excellent question. First of all, paper forms do not provide or capture the same information as electronic forms on mobile devices, for example. Let's look at a simple inspection of storage tanks. Paper forms may contain a very limited static amount of information about the inspection. On the other hand, electronic forms on mobile devices can include reference materials, images, PDF documents, and additional instructions that can explain and assist the inspector to evaluate risk and complete the form. These reference materials also minimize learning curves and ensure the person evaluating the risk has all the information they require to assist them in the process. Second, paper forms typically allow the inspector to write down, they can mark if something is not right, they write down the comments or observations, but they do not include any type of standardization responses. So each of us has different writing styles, and each of us will write different wording on the form. Electronic forms can include drop-downs that standardize the inspector's response. Third, paper forms cannot capture images, and yes, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Images reflect compliance, or even more important, they capture issues that are included in the risk notification as well as serve as proof to support the findings. Capturing an image reflecting an issue with a faulty component of your shelving, for example, can minimize your risk of injury. Capturing an image of the same area after the issue was rectified is the best proof and record keeping that the issue was fixed. And finally, capturing the information electronically enables timely data flow, information sharing, alerts, and tracking of the issues and related corrective actions.
Excellent. You have raised many important points. Let's discuss one of your clients, a very large food producer. Could you please let us know more information about their paper-based processes related to compliance?
We've been helping a variety of organizations to minimize risk and ensure compliance using automation. One of them is a very large food producer with global operations. When you are a food producer, in addition to industrial compliance requirements, you also have food safety regulations. For example, HACCP, good manufacturing practices, GMP, and extra compliance-related activities. Errors or mistakes can not only endanger your employees, but it can also have disastrous ramifications related to customer safety and to your reputation. As part of our methodology, we apply common sense to any project. I know it sounds obvious, but if you actually use common sense to automate the areas that are more important to your clients, your project will be a success. Specifically, we help our customers to automate processes based on their requirements and whichever business unit starting the project. So specifically, automating paper-based process for this client, including the following component. And these were what we call the hot buttons, what they really cared about first. Familiar and ease of use of technology, for example, using Android-based devices eliminated technology phobia, as the vast majority of the workforce is already familiar with these technologies. Providing very easy-to-use screens that require minimal training. Enabling each user to focus on their tasks. This is a very important point. Without the need for unnecessary technology, responsibility, or new tasks they didn't have before. Specifically, if the user simply completes the forms using a smartphone instead of paper, it allows for better acceptance by the user and a much better chance of successful implementation. In this specific case, our customer chose to improve processes related to the warehouse and distribution centers. More specifically, they chose to start with automating the process of pre-start checks for machinery and warehouse forklifts. We were asked to focus on a number of issues. First, provide additional information to staff performing these pre-start checks, including specific instructions and how to, what we mentioned before as reference materials. Capturing all the compliance requirement was another item we included, which means that all the required question and answers for each pre-start checks were included. And then enabling the user to quickly and efficiently capture the required information and images. We improved information flow when a deficiency was detected, so immediate notifications to the management when something was wrong. Enabled general notification to management near real time as well. So our project was more than simply replacing paper forms with an electronic or a PDF copy. It was integrating information flow, escalation procedures, and management notification in the project. The first step was to ensure that capturing information electronically was easier and faster than paper forms. That's another very important point for success. The checklists were adjusted for our client-specific environment. Each user only had access to the information they required to complete their work. For example, a forklift operator only sees the forklift pre-start checks, while the machine operator only accesses their specific machine checklist. Each operator is only required to complete the forms. All the information flow, the notification, the corrective actions are all done automatically by the system without the user intervention. Our next step was to identify specific notifications and escalation procedures, so Pervidi can alert the required people when deficiencies were detected. This including identifying the recipient, frequency, and logic of these notifications. For example, a forklift issue is escalated immediately to one person, while other less important issues are listed in a weekly email. So how did this project help our customers? Of this specific client? Wow, many ways, many benefits. First, we changed our focus from the rule to the exception. That's a term we use continuously. It sounds simple, but it's likely the biggest benefit of the project entail. By demonstrating to management that safety compliance activities are being done, and by allowing management to focus on deficiencies and issues, we drastically improved efficiencies and reduced cost. We mitigated risks by ensuring management is aware of all the issues. The benefit dramatically reduced the chances of injuries or business disruption related to the areas that were automated by our product. We provided timely and easy access to information and to record keeping. The product ensured that compliance activities were completed on time. This was achieved by incorporating automatic alerts when items were missed or overdue. This not only provided management with the information they required, but also enabled them to address additional user training and inductions as required when users were not completing their due diligence activities on time. Some of the benefits that Pervidi delivered could be directly correlated to operational efficiencies and cost reductions. Many benefits can also be related to risk mitigation and minimizing disruptions.
Thanks, Eitan. You've provided an excellent example. So what were some of the key lessons that were learned?
We tried to learn something at each implementation of Pervidi. Typically, we learn nuances related to processes and customer requirements. For example, while a racking inspection is very similar between one organization to another, information flow, escalation procedures, corrective actions can vary between organizations or even within departments in one organization. Also, specifically to this project, we confirmed the importance of an internal champion, typically a senior role in the organization that oversees the project and ensures that different departments embrace the project. Our client also learned the approach that automation can be implemented in steps, and that these steps, if properly managed, are quite easy to accomplish. This was a key component to success in that case. And finally, I think that only after the implementation, our client realized the true value of replacing paper with automation. Just think of the quarterly reporting to management they're getting up the chain of how many inspections were conducted in the quarter, how many deficiencies were found, and all the record keeping confirmed is done in place.
Thanks, Eitan. That is definitely a lot of valuable lessons to learn. I'd like to know more about the services provided by Techs4Biz and how it helps its clients with automation of paper-based processes and compliance.
Techs4Biz started automating paper-based processes over 20 years ago. When we started, our customers were mainly early adopters who were enamored with technology and shared our vision. We saw a significant uptick in usage after the iPhone and Android were introduced just over 10 years ago, and we have seen a steady increase ever since. Smart devices have turned into an extension of almost every adult, and using these devices for multiple automation benefits has become second nature to most. Pervidi Paperless Solutions, which is our brand name, is a combination of technology, common sense, and many years of experience in successful implementations of automation in the marketplace. Pervidi is not only an app or technology that turns forms into a PDF document. Pervidi specifically focuses the automation aspects that are related and relevant to each one of our customers while increasing ROI and value. We've been lucky to be on almost every industry. We have customers such as Aurora Group, Nestle, JDE, Rio Tinto, NASA, Lactalis, Lehigh Hansen, State of California, and many others. Pervidi is used to automate a huge variety of paper-based processes: compliance form, industrial inspections, construction safety, tool tracking, inductions, marine inspections, farm audits, lifting, fall protection, personal protective equipment, confined space, JSA, toolbox meetings, EPA emissions, environmental checks, custom checklist. Pervidi is used to inspect over 70 US military bases. Insurance companies use our product for inspections supporting their underwritten policies. And we inspect huge conveyor belts and crushers and screens. We are being used on oil rigs and in mines throughout the world. The most common denominator of all of our implementations is the very important combination of common sense with powerful yet easy to use automation, which allows Pervidi to deliver superb value to our customers.
That's excellent. So how is your offering different from others?
I think this is one of the more important questions, so thank you very much for that. Just like when you're investing in transportation, there's a huge difference between riding a bicycle and driving a car that suits your specific needs. Not all software products are the same. In fact, sorry to say, most automation projects still fail or fail to deliver the promised value. This is where we truly believe that we are different. We understand our clients' specific needs and automate their specific requirements. We tailor our solutions as required. Different user may require different features, different data access, different functionality. This may include integration, custom processes, etc. We focus on the value for our clients. Projects are not only digitalization of forms, they improve operational efficiencies. We help our clients change their focus from the rule to the exception. That's something I mentioned before, which entail countless benefits. Our customer service is service to none. We actually personally know all of our customers, and we always are happy to talk to them. And we're very proud of our track record, client-based, and product reliability. Finally, many websites now list very similar descriptions of the products. They are not all the same. Many other software products only offer simple digitalization. Some offer one product fits all. Others aim to only focus on corporate-wide implementations, which are very costly. So to summarize, we truly believe that we offer a unique, superb value and the best common sense implementation in the marketplace.
Thank you, Eitan. You have raised many excellent points regarding how your offering at Techs4Biz is different from others in the marketplace. So what are the next steps a client should take if they wanted to take up your services?
Simply go to our websites, pervidi.com.au or pervidi.com. Email us, sales@pervidi.com or sales@pervidi.com.au, or call us. Our phone numbers are on our websites. One of our team members would be pleased to assist and provide information about automating your specific paper processes.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Eitan, for joining us today from Techs4Biz.
Thank you for taking the time to discuss this very important topic. It is often that we hear people who think that automation projects are difficult to implement, or that they're too large, complicated, or expensive to implement. So I hope that I was able to relate to your listeners and convey our experience. Thank you again.
Yes, absolutely. It's been a very informative and educational discussion, and I've really enjoyed it. Well, that concludes today's episode on regulatory compliance and digital transformation with Techs4Biz. You will find all of their contact details listed below. So join us again at Supply Chain Partners video and podcast media channels, where we meet with experts across Australia to discuss key business and supply chain topics, issues and trends, including logistics, supply chain management, technology, and much more. Be sure to click the subscribe button to this Supply Chain Partners channel. We look forward to you joining us again in a future episode.